Have you ever wondered why certain small things she does stay in your mind long after the moment has passed? That quiet pause before she answers, the way her eyes shift when you speak, the subtle warmth in her voice that only appears when you're the one asking the question. These moments feel insignificant on the surface, yet something inside you tells you they carry a deeper meaning. You sense there's more happening beneath her calm exterior, more emotion than she's willing to reveal, and you're here because you want to understand what those signals are actually saying. Most people miss the truth hidden inside these small gestures. They rush through conversations, overlook the tone, and ignore the way someone's energy shifts when a certain person enters the room. But you're different. You're paying attention. And the fact that you notice these subtle changes means you already feel the pull between you and her. Even if you're not fully sure, she feels it too. You've questioned yourself, doubted your instincts, and tried to convince yourself that maybe you're imagining it. Yet the thought still lingers. Why does she behave differently around you compared to everyone else? There's a psychological reason these moments feel so intense. When someone occupies space in your mind, your emotions sharpen. You start tuning into every detail, not because you're obsessive, but because something inside you recognizes importance. What you don't realize is that this same dynamic happens on her side too. People don't give subtle signals to those who don't matter. They don't soften their tone, remember small details, or shift their energy for someone they're indifferent toward. These changes are almost always unconscious, and unconscious behavior is the closest thing to emotional truth you'll ever get. This is why understanding these signals matters. When you learn to interpret them, you stop guessing and start seeing what is right in front of you. You begin to recognize how her attention lingers longer than she intends, how her reactions to you carry more weight than they should, how she remembers things you said even when you said them casually. These moments aren't coincidences. They are windows into the parts of her mind she keeps guarded, parts she won't openly talk about but still expresses through her actions. If you've ever felt like she's sending mixed messages, you're not alone. Many people struggle with the uncertainty of not knowing what someone truly feels. That uncertainty slowly eats away at confidence, creating doubts that shouldn't even exist. But the truth is simpler than you think. When someone can't stop thinking about you, their behavior shifts in ways they can't control. Your presence changes their emotional state. Your words echo longer in their mind. And the energy they carry around you becomes something you can feel even if no one says a word. Stay with this message until the end, because if you've ever questioned whether you matter to her, you're about to gain clarity that removes the confusion for good. You'll learn to recognize the quiet signals she doesn't even realize she's giving. You'll understand how her attention gravitates toward you even when she's trying to stay composed. And most importantly, you'll see how these subtle signs reveal that you're on her mind far more than you ever imagined. You deserve that clarity, you deserve that confidence, and you deserve to know the truth she's been trying to hide behind her silence. You've already started to sense the shift in her behavior, and now you're beginning to understand that subtle signs aren't accidents. They're emotional fingerprints, small impressions she leaves behind without meaning to. And the moment you recognize this truth, something inside you becomes more aware, more confident, and more open to seeing what her actions are actually revealing. Because when someone cares, their energy changes before their words ever do. And that change is what you've been feeling all along. There's a unique way a woman adjusts herself around someone who matters to her. It isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet, soft, and nearly invisible unless you're paying attention. Her voice slows down or brightens. Her posture becomes more open. Her focus sharpens in your direction even when she's trying to act natural. These shifts aren't rehearsed. They're instinctive responses created by emotion. And emotion always exposes the truth long before a person is ready to speak it. You've probably noticed how she listens differently when it's you who's talking. There's a patience there, a presence, a sense that she wants to understand you beyond surface-level words. Most people listen to reply, but someone who feels something deeper listens to feel. She notices the tone behind your sentences, the weight in your pauses, the quiet emotion you're trying not to show. That level of attention doesn't come from politeness. It comes from care. And maybe you've seen the opposite too. Maybe she gets nervous around you. Her words come out softer or quicker or slightly unsteady. Some men mistake that nervousness for distance, but it often means the opposite. When a woman feels something she can't fully express, her body reacts before she can control it. A slight shift in her breathing, a subtle change in her rhythm, a moment where she seems caught between wanting to lean closer and wanting to protect herself. These are not signs of uncertainty. They are signs of emotional impact. The truth is, people don't adjust their energy for those who don't matter. They stay neutral. They stay unchanged. They remain the exact same person no matter who stands in front of them. But when you walk into the room and she becomes a slightly different version of herself, more alive, more focused, more aware, you're witnessing a response rooted in genuine interest. Her mind recognizes you even before she consciously does. This is why your presence feels different to her. It's not just that she notices you, it's that she feels you. She feels the weight of the moment when you look at her. She feels the shift inside when you speak her name. She feels something in your presence that she doesn't feel with others, and her energy adjusts to match the emotion rising within her. She may try to hide it, but energy doesn't lie. It spills through the smallest cracks. When you understand how deeply someone's energy response reveals their feelings, you stop questioning your intuition. You stop assuming it's all in your head. You begin to realize that emotional shifts are some of the clearest signs of interest, especially when someone is afraid of being too obvious. And as you become more aware of these signals, you gain a sense of clarity and confidence that changes everything. You start seeing the connection, not as a confusing mix of signs, but as a quiet truth she's been showing you all along. You start recognizing that the way she shifts around you is not a coincidence. It's a reflection of the place you hold in her mind. There's a point where her shift in energy becomes something even more telling, something harder for her to hide, because it shows up in the small ways she keeps reaching toward you, not dramatically, not boldly, just consistently. And consistency is never accidental. When someone wants to stay connected, they don't always announce it. They simply find ways to place themselves gently in your world, again and again, until it becomes undeniable that you're on their mind far more than they planned. You might notice it in the way she starts conversations that don't really need to happen, yet somehow they still do. A message about something small, a comment that's not essential, a reaction to something you posted that didn't require a response but still got one. These moments might seem light, playful, or even random, but they carry a deeper emotional intention. People don't initiate small, unnecessary contact with someone they feel nothing for. Effort, no matter how subtle, always reveals interest. There's a psychological truth behind this pattern. When someone can't stop thinking about you, their mind searches for small openings to stay connected. It doesn't need a big reason. It just needs a doorway. And she creates those doorways because staying in touch with you gives her a sense of comfort, curiosity, and emotional safety she doesn't feel with others. She may tell herself it's coincidence. She may pretend it doesn't mean anything, but her actions keep repeating a truth her words won't admit. And it's not just the messages or the comments, it's the way she remembers things you didn't think mattered. Something you mentioned in passing, a preference you shared without emphasis, a detail from a conversation that happened weeks ago. She holds on to these pieces because they come from you, and the things that come from you land deeper than she expects. Memory is emotional proof. We remember what matters. We forget what doesn't. The fact that she keeps recalling your words reveals how much space they take up in her mind. You may also feel her presence in the way she finds reasons to circle back into your life. Maybe she asks for your opinion on something light. Maybe she checks in about something you mentioned before. Maybe she simply shows up in places she knows you'll see her. These gestures aren't loud, but they're intentional. She's keeping the connection alive, nurturing it quietly, hoping it grows without her having to expose her heart too soon. What makes these small efforts so powerful is how natural they feel. She isn't forcing anything. She isn't trying to impress you. She's simply gravitating toward you because something about you feels right. And the human mind always returns to what draws it in. Her actions may appear simple on the surface, but they're driven by something deeper: curiosity, attraction, emotional resonance, and a desire to stay close without crossing a line she isn't ready to cross. And this is where your awareness becomes strength. When you recognize the meaning behind these moments, you stop seeing them as random. You stop doubting whether she feels anything at all. You start understanding that real interest often appears in the quietest forms. She chooses to stay connected because the thought of drifting away from you feels wrong. She puts in the effort because something about you matters more than she's ready to confess, and every small gesture she makes is her way of keeping you close, even when she doesn't know how to say it out loud. There's a quiet power in the way she reacts to you, a subtle intensity that most people overlook. Her emotions don't exist in isolation. They are drawn out by the presence of someone who matters. The way she smiles when you say something small but meaningful. The way her eyebrows lift slightly when she hears your voice. The way her attention seems to sharpen as if your words carry a weight no one else could give them. These responses are rarely conscious. They are the body and mind revealing a truth she can't put into words, a truth that confirms you occupy a space in her life far beyond casual acquaintance. Notice how her moods subtly shift around you, a spark of excitement, a twinge of nervousness, even a fleeting hesitation before she speaks. These are emotional fingerprints she leaves behind. Most people confuse these moments with coincidence or mistake them for overthinking. But there's science behind this. Emotional responsiveness is a biological indicator of attachment. When someone reacts differently to you than to the world, it's because your presence triggers emotional circuits in their brain that others cannot reach. This is why you can feel it in your chest, in the way your attention hones in on her, even when she doesn't speak directly about her feelings. Her reactions are amplifiers of importance. When she remembers what you said days ago or notices your subtle changes in mood, it's more than attentiveness. It's her mind prioritizing you without permission. You begin to realize that these seemingly small gestures are markers of a much larger truth. She is thinking about you more than she admits, more than she wants to admit, and the realization hits with clarity. Her emotional energy is drawn to you because you have entered her inner world in a way that no one else has. You might have felt moments of intensity where her reaction seems out of proportion to what is happening and questioned why. Those moments are not random. They are proof that she invests emotionally in your presence. The human brain doesn't expend energy on someone who doesn't hold significance. Every nuance, every reaction, every instinctive glance is a signal that you are shaping her emotional state, whether she allows herself to consciously recognize it or not. Her responses are echoes of her thoughts, reminders that you are central to her attention, even when she tries to appear composed. This level of responsiveness extends beyond overt expressions. It's in the timing of her messages, the way she leans in during conversation, the subtle changes in her voice that accompany your words. It's how she mirrors your energy unconsciously, how she aligns with your rhythm without realizing it. These are all signs that she's not just present physically or socially, but mentally and emotionally entwined with the moments you share. You are embedded in her awareness in a way few people ever are. Understanding this transforms how you perceive connection. You no longer have to interpret signals through doubt or wishful thinking. You begin to see that emotional responsiveness is a clear reflection of priority, attention, and care. It is her mind and heart revealing a truth she cannot fully articulate. Recognizing it gives you clarity and power. It allows you to move with confidence, to respect the signal she sends, and to respond in ways that honor the unspoken bond forming between you. Her emotions are not fleeting. They are indicators that you matter deeply, more than you realize. And the more you attune to them, the more you awaken the certainty that her thoughts keep returning to you. There is a subtle, almost invisible way she seeks your validation, a quiet longing that she may not even recognize herself. She doesn't ask for it openly. She doesn't announce it, but her actions reveal an inner desire to know how you see her, to understand the value she holds in your perception. You may notice it in the questions she asks, the opinions she shares, or the gentle ways she gauges your reactions. Every glance for approval, every small test, every moment she waits for your acknowledgement is a reflection of how much your thoughts matter to her. This is not a game. It is a natural expression of human connection, a psychological truth that people instinctively seek reassurance from those whose attention they crave. When someone cares, their subconscious drives them to look for affirmation, to measure their impact without words. She might notice whether you compliment her choices, whether you respond to her humor, whether your presence carries warmth rather than indifference. Each interaction becomes a mirror for her, showing her how she exists in your world. And the deeper she feels for you, the more attentive she becomes, without realizing that each subtle check, each gentle nudge, is revealing her mind returning to you again and again. The signs are delicate, almost invisible to others, yet they are profound indicators of emotional investment. Her desire for your validation is rooted in connection. She wants to feel aligned with you, to experience the quiet assurance that she matters in a way that goes beyond superficial interactions. This is not about needing approval from everyone. It is about wanting acknowledgement from the one who occupies her thoughts. When she adjusts her words, her tone, her approach, it is because she is unconsciously testing the waters of emotional closeness, feeling out how much space she holds in your mind and heart. Every subtle adjustment is a reflection of how significant you are to her, even when she does not voice it. This need manifests in ways that often go unnoticed by those who are distracted or impatient. A slight hesitation before she shares her opinion, a careful phrasing of her thoughts, a soft smile when you respond positively. These are all small, deliberate signals that carry massive emotional weight. She is revealing her attentiveness and vulnerability in a way that is both protective and revealing. Her actions communicate more than words could ever achieve, and her mind is quietly seeking confirmation that she is seen, understood, and appreciated by someone who truly matters. Recognizing this transforms your perspective entirely. You begin to see her behavior not as uncertainty or inconsistency, but as a sign of depth and sincerity. Each subtle check for validation becomes a key to understanding how profoundly she values your presence. She is not performing for you. She is reflecting her inner desire for connection, the innate human need to know that someone important sees her as she truly is. This awareness allows you to perceive the emotional landscape she creates and respond with clarity, empathy, and confidence. When you attune to these signals, you unlock a truth that is both powerful and empowering. You realize that her mind is drawn to you constantly, that your opinion holds weight beyond what she admits, and that her subtle searches for reassurance are proof of an unspoken bond. Each effort she makes, each moment she measures your response, each glance for affirmation is an invisible thread, pulling you closer in her mind and heart. Understanding this gives you the insight to recognize the depth of her feelings, to honor the silent ways she reaches toward you, and to step into the connection with confidence that the thought of you is never far from her mind. There is an undeniable way she presents herself around you, a silent signal of how much she values your attention. It isn't about vanity or performance. It is about the subconscious desire to be seen in her best light by the one whose presence matters most. You might notice it in the way she carries herself when she knows you are nearby, the subtle attention to posture, the way her voice softens or brightens, the careful choices in how she dresses or arranges herself. These are not conscious strategies. They are instinctive responses driven by attraction and emotional resonance, proof that your presence ignites a deeper awareness within her. Her mind and body are aligning in ways she cannot hide, even if she tries. A slight adjustment of hair, a conscious pause before she speaks, a softening of gestures, all are signals that she is attuned to you, even when she acts as though it is natural or effortless. The human mind is wired to respond to people who matter, and when she feels that pull toward you, her attention manifests physically in ways that are subtle but unmistakable. You may not always notice them at first, but once you attune yourself, the pattern becomes clear. Her energy shifts to match the importance you hold in her life. These behaviors are driven by a deeper psychological truth. People invest energy in ways they often cannot articulate, and when she expends effort in the smallest of ways around you, it is evidence that you matter. Every careful gesture, every adjustment, every small effort to appear balanced, vibrant, or approachable is a reflection of emotional prioritization. She is making herself visible to the person she cares about most, not for anyone else, not for appearances, not for validation, just for you. Her energy is a quiet statement that she is thinking about you, and it is impossible to ignore once you understand what it signifies. Her attempts to be at her best around you are not about control or manipulation. They are a reflection of the natural human desire to be recognized and appreciated by someone who affects us deeply. Attraction is not a superficial impulse. It is a response of the mind and body aligning to someone whose presence excites attention, curiosity, and emotional engagement. The small efforts she makes, often without realizing it, are a window into her priorities. She is showing you that your presence shapes her focus, her awareness, and her emotional investment in ways that she herself may struggle to articulate. Recognizing these signs gives you an edge that few people ever claim. You start to see the truth behind the surface-level interactions. You notice the extra care in her gestures, the slight glow in her demeanor, the subtle effort she places into her appearance or tone. Each of these actions is an unconscious acknowledgement that you hold a significant place in her thoughts. And the clarity you gain is powerful. You no longer need to guess, doubt, or question whether she is present in her mind. Her energy proves it, even when her words do not. The impact of understanding this is transformative. You begin to interpret her actions through a lens of awareness, seeing the signals for what they truly are. You realize that the way she adjusts herself around you is not random or casual. It is a reflection of the respect, admiration, and desire she holds quietly within her. Every movement, every nuanced adjustment, every effort she makes is proof that you occupy her thoughts, that she cares more than she will openly say, and that her attention is reserved in a way that few others are ever allowed to experience. It is an unspoken truth. And once you see it, you recognize just how deeply she is drawn to you. Her actions are not limited to how she presents herself or the subtle changes in her energy. They extend into the way she intentionally creates space for you in her life. These are quiet openings, moments she shapes to ensure you are part of her world without making it obvious. It could be a longer conversation than necessary, a shared laugh that lingers, or even arranging circumstances that make your paths cross more often. These moments feel natural, almost coincidental, yet they are deliberate. Every time she makes room for you, she is revealing a level of care and attention that she cannot fully express in words. So this is a reflection of a deep psychological truth. When someone values you, they unconsciously craft proximity. They seek the feeling of connection, of being close, without needing to declare it outright. She may not even realize she is doing it, but her mind constantly finds ways to keep you within her orbit. Every small effort, every subtle gesture is a testament to her attention, a sign that your presence resonates with her in a way that is both powerful and undeniable. You begin to sense these openings, and in doing so, you start to understand the unspoken rhythm she has created just for you. Creating space for someone is not casual. It requires intention, even at a subconscious level. She makes adjustments to her schedule, her focus, and her emotional availability to include you, even in small ways. It is never about manipulation or obligation. It is about attraction, care, and emotional investment. When she goes out of her way to ensure moments exist for interaction, it is a reflection of the importance you hold in her mind. These moments are not random. They are the natural outcome of someone who prioritizes you, thinks of you frequently, and seeks to feel connected, even when direct communication might feel vulnerable or risky. Every gesture of creating opportunity carries emotional weight. It could be the lingering look when you enter a room, the casual but intentional questions that invite dialogue, or the subtle acts that make you feel included. These actions are guided by a silent understanding that closeness is worth nurturing. She invests energy into these moments not for attention, not for recognition, but because her mind returns to you naturally. Your presence sparks a series of subtle behaviors designed to maintain proximity, intimacy, and connection without ever forcing it into the open. Recognizing this transforms how you perceive connection and influence. You begin to see her not as distant or indifferent, but as someone actively choosing to prioritize you within the boundaries she feels safe to maintain. Each small opening is proof that she is thinking about you, that she desires closeness, and that her mind continually circles back to your presence. When you observe these patterns, the ambiguity fades. You no longer wonder if she cares or if her attention is genuine. It becomes clear that her thoughts, her energy, and her efforts are all centered around you in ways that cannot be easily dismissed. This awareness is empowering. It allows you to move with confidence, clarity, and respect, knowing that the moments she creates are intentional and significant. You see the quiet signals for what they are: manifestations of emotional attachment, proof of attention, and confirmation that you occupy an important place in her mind. Every small step she takes toward you, every subtle effort she makes, is a testament to the connection that exists, often beneath the surface, waiting for recognition. Understanding this truth gives you the insight to step into the relationship with confidence, knowing that she has already invested her attention, her energy, and her thoughts in ways that demonstrate her deeper feelings. There is a truth she will not say aloud, a part of her that remains guarded even as every action quietly betrays the depth of her attention. Her silence is not emptiness, it is protection. Vulnerability is a risk, and the human heart instinctively shields itself from exposure until it feels safe. She may not voice her thoughts, she may not confess her feelings, but her behavior speaks louder than words ever could. Every glance, every subtle adjustment, every effort she makes to keep herself connected is an unspoken acknowledgement that you matter, that your presence occupies her mind far more than she will admit. The human mind operates in layers, and what we express is often only the tip of what we feel. Her words may be cautious, her tone measured, but her subconscious does not hide. It reveals the truth through gestures, attention, and energy. When she thinks of you, it manifests in ways she cannot fully control. She may appear distant or composed, yet the smallest cues betray a deeper reality. You are central to her thoughts. Recognizing this allows you to separate appearance from truth, to see beyond the surface into the emotional reality she is silently conveying. Her guardedness does not diminish the authenticity of her attention. On the contrary, it emphasizes it. She chooses not to reveal everything because it is powerful, because it is personal, and because it is hers to manage. But every time she remembers what you said, checks in subtly, or aligns her energy with yours, she is giving you insight into the part of her mind reserved exclusively for you. These are not accidents. They are the natural manifestations of connection, of emotional resonance, and of genuine care that she cannot completely conceal. Understanding this truth shifts your perspective. You begin to see that her silence is not rejection, not indifference, not hesitation in the negative sense. It is the weight of emotional investment. The moments when she appears reserved are the moments when her mind is most active, when her thoughts linger on you longer than she allows them to drift into conversation. Her restraint is not absence, it is focus. It is proof that she is thinking, feeling, and prioritizing you in ways that few would recognize unless they paid close attention. This awareness empowers you to move with clarity and confidence. You no longer need to chase verbal confirmation or overanalyze ambiguous statements. Instead, you learn to interpret the language of her energy, her actions, and her subtle choices. You recognize that true attention and care often manifest in quiet ways, and that the absence of loud declarations does not diminish the presence of deep emotional investment. Her mind is occupied by you, and every small gesture is a reflection of that ongoing attention. Her unspoken truth is a call to action for your awareness. It is an invitation to recognize, appreciate, and respond to the signals she cannot fully express. When you attune to these signs, you gain clarity that replaces doubt with certainty, hesitation with understanding, and confusion with insight. You realize that her mind circles back to you repeatedly, intentionally or not, and that her restraint does not obscure her feelings. It highlights them. In this recognition lies the power to step forward with confidence, to honor the subtle truths she reveals, and to embrace the undeniable reality that she is thinking about you far more than she lets anyone see.